Greetings, my fellow ghouls and goblins. I'm Tom, and welcome to Monster Gab, where we love to talk about classic and vintage horror, be it movies, books, or as in this episode, games. More specifically, horror games for the Atari 2600. Now, I did indeed say classic and vintage horror. However, the term we usually use for older video games is retro. That being said, if we were to consider any games console classic or vintage, well, they don't come much more vintage than the Atari 2600. After all, it was released in 1977, and for me personally, it is the granddaddy of all home gaming consoles. Now, I will hold my hands up and say that I don't physically actually own an Atari 2600, nor have I ever. Like I said, they were released back in 1977, and I was born in 1983. The very first games console that I received was an NES, also known as just the Nintendo back then, and I still own it. It's in the attic. And for anyone who knows me will know that I'm a massive fan of retro video gaming. I love all games. I love modern games and I love older games, but I'm a big sucker for the older games. That being said, when it comes to the Atari, the games on there do feel just a little bit primitive for my liking. It's not to say that I don't like Atari games, I absolutely love them, and I do have a lot of nostalgia for Atari games, because despite the fact that I've never owned the console, I have played on one many a times, and in fact I do own a few games on other mediums, like for instance on the PlayStation 2, I've got the Atari Anthology there, and I do like to dig it out every now and then. And I also own the Activision Anthology, which is a great collection because, in my opinion, Activision made the best games for the Atari. But when it comes to Atari games, I must admit that I do find Atari just a little bit primitive for my liking. And that's no disrespect to the Atari or its fans. I do love the games for the Atari, but I just kind of find they don't hold your attention the same way as, say, games later in history do. Granted, the graphics on the Atari are very, very basic and a lot of imagination is needed, but that's fine, I don't have a problem with that. If anything, that just adds to the charm. For many games on the Atari, there was no final level. It wasn't about completing the game, it was about getting the highest score. So inevitably, you would either die or run out of lives. Well, there wouldn't actually be any real closure. You played until it was game over. And many a time the levels would just repeat over and over and over, and there wouldn't be anything new. It would just get faster or harder or both, and that's just the way it was. That was gaming back then. But with all that being said, Atari games weren't meant to be played for hours on end either. They were meant to be played in short spurts, which is what I like to do as well, especially with the games I've got here. And I've also got a few games emulated on a couple of systems that I have, let's just say. I know a lot of people don't like emulation, but in this day and age, it's the only way you can really play these games now. So folks, I'm about to show you some footage that I recorded earlier of myself playing some horror-based Atari games. It's going to be in a Let's Play fashion. Now, I do apologise, folks, if the footage isn't of the best quality. I'm still learning how to capture footage like this. I've never done it before, and I'm still kind of new to the YouTube game too, so give me some credit, okay? Anyway, without further ado, let's have a look. Okay, we're going to check out Halloween on the Atari. Came out in 1983. The game, obviously, the film came out much sooner than that. But based on the movie, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, directed by the one and only John Carpenter. Let's give this game a go, shall we? Now, I believe this game has got music on it, so which is not typical for Atari games. So let's just let's check that out, shall we? There it is. Okay, so there's there's Michael Myers with I'm guessing that's his kitchen knife, and you play the part of the babysitter, it says in the instructions. So I'm assuming you're playing the part of Laurie Strode, who is played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Now the idea is you've got to rescue the children. So yeah, you're a babysitter and you've got to rescue the children before Michael Myers gets to them. I think in the instructions it says there were 16 rooms. But you know, graphically this isn't that bad. You know, Atari games require you to use a lot of imagination. I mean, that's not that bad for Atari. I can tell that that is Michael that's coming after me, especially with the music. Oh, and he really moves, doesn't he? Oh, there's a child. So I think Yeah, we rescue a child. Right, okay, so I don't know what you're supposed to do with them now, whether you take them into another room. Oh, look at that, flickering lights, just to add to the suspense. Brilliant. So there's a room. If we take... Does the child follow you? No, what? Oh, what? I keep going in and out the doorway. Right, come on, come with me. No, come with me if you want to live. I can't get this child to follow me. I mean, I can understand that, you know, he must be hysterical, but oh, I've lost him. He's gone. Gone to the clutches of Michael Myers. Who knows? I can't go through there. Oh, what do you do? Oh, there's Michael again. Really should sort that light bulb out in that room. Right, there's the child. Oh no! Oh, Michael's gonna get him! Come on. Oh my god, look at the blood coming out of the head! For a game that doesn't have you know, intense graphics, that was intensely graphic. Okay, we're going to try and rescue this child. I didn't try very hard then, did I? Right, we're going to go in. We're going to step in. Get away, Michael. Oh, what? There goes my head. Right, okay. I'm going to have one more attempt. I can't get the child to follow me through the doorway, so I'm not entirely sure what I'm supposed to do here. Right, one more go. Oh, he's in the next floor. Oh, Michael's following me again. Right, so I believe the child was down here. The child! Come on. Right, there's Michael. No. It won't come with me through the doorway. Oh, he did. Right, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. No, the Halloween theme tune just keeps playing whenever Michael appears on the screen. I suppose it's to add to the intensity, but if anything, it's just making it very humorous. I don't know what to do. I'm just walking from room to room. Right, I can't go through there. But this child doesn't follow me. I don't know what to do. It's very cryptic. I suppose I should read the instructions again. Now, apparently, I can pick up a knife too. How to use it, I don't know. I mean, there's only one button. We're just going to leave it there, but it's not a bad game. I think it's something that I just need to play properly, sit down with, learn how to play it, and I think, to be honest with you, that's not a bad game. As far as Atari standards, they go. I think that's a good game. Sorry, I can't speak properly and play at the same time. Multitasking is just not something that I can do, so I'm going to be stuttering a lot, and let's just get my head chopped off again, just for the humour of it. Okay, well, that's Halloween. Okay, next up we've got Haunted House, which I actually own. I've got it on an Atari collection. I have played this before, and it's okay. They've tried to be clever in the sense that you don't actually get to see your character, you just see the character's eyes, because the house is meant to be pitch black, and you're meant to move from floor to floor, and you have to pick up candles, I believe, in order to see your enemies. But it's quite difficult, and I don't mean difficult in like level of skill. I mean, I just think the way the game is designed, it's difficult to play, but we're going to give it a go. So I don't know if the microphone's picking that up, but when you move around, you make this kind of farty sound. So you move from room to room, and there. So if you hit the power button, just the button, the one and only button on your joystick, or in this case, keyboard, because I'm emulating the game, you light a candle, and I think that helps you find objects that you wouldn't normally see, and then. Yeah, like I said, the game is kind of difficult. You've got to go from room to room, so we'll try and move to another room. So this is meant to be another room. As you can see, that the walls have changed colour, so it's obviously a completely different room. But there are things like spiders and bats in this game. And as you move along, things kind of get harder and more intense. So here we are. So I'm guessing this is meant to represent some stairs. Oh, and there's a bat. And we've died. Oh, and there's a ghost there as well. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not actually sure what the purpose of the game is, whether you're meant to get from one end of the house to the other, or to complete as many objects as possible, or in most cases on Atari, it was just to get as many points as you could. But I'm sure there's a bit more purpose to this game. I just haven't quite figured it out. I've no doubt it mentions it in the manual, and if I read it, I picked something up then. What was it? Who knows? Who knows? There's something on the screen there, but that could be anything. But yeah, I don't really know what you're supposed to do in this game. It's kind of an interesting concept. It's difficult though when enemies come up on the screen, because I don't know how you're supposed to defeat them, whether you can defeat them or you've just got to move around them. And I've no doubt you're limited to how many candles you can use. So I've got something else there on the screen as well. I really should read the manual, shouldn't I? But anyway, that's Haunted House, and it's okay. Okay, we're going to play Ghost Manor. Oh, and it's got a title screen. That's pretty cool. Okay. So it looks like there's some kind of castle in the background there. I'm guessing those are gravestones. And that looks like a very flamboyant looking ghost there. Oh, sorry, I've knocked the webcam. Let's give this a go. I actually genuinely have no idea how to play this game, but we're going to give it a go. Oh, the sound. Right, so I don't know what the principle is. We're just going to wing it. I mean, how hard can it be? There's only one button to press, right? I don't know if you heard that music. Right, okay, so I don't really know what I'm doing here. The gravestones don't do anything. The button doesn't do anything. So something's happening every time I touch that ghost. Am I supposed to just dodge it? Can I attack it? I don't know what to do. I'm assuming they're gravestones. What's the game called again? Ghost Manor. I don't know what to do. The button's not doing anything. My character is just running around aimlessly. There's a ghost that keeps touching me, and every time it does, a score is added, which I'm assuming is not a good score. I mean, I would have thought you're not supposed to touch the ghost. You were meant to dodge it. I don't know what to do. Again, another case of I should have read the manual, but there's one button in this game. How complex can it be, for crying out loud? Loving the lightning crashes in the background. Yeah, well, there you go. Ghost Manor on the Atari. Check it out. Okay, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, my understanding is that this game was not a legitimate release, but I could be wrong on that, so don't take my word as gospel. Or this game was possibly banned, perhaps. Maybe it was just too graphic. I don't know. I don't know if that's true, so don't take my word for that. But I believe there's something to do with this game, or maybe this game was like an underground game. It wasn't like a legitimate release or something like that. I can't remember. But I also believe that, unlike the Halloween game where you didn't control Michael Myers, you were controlling the victim, I think in this game you actually get to play as Leatherface, and you attack your victims in it. And I think the idea is to get as high a score as possible by killing as many vulnerable teenagers as you possibly can. Let's find out for sure, shall we? Ooh, like the intense pulsing sound there that the game is giving me. Let's give it a go. Right, so I'm guessing you're meant to be Leatherface. Oh, I've seen someone play this game before. So, right, okay, so you've got a fuel gauge at the top there, which is for your chainsaw. What is that high pitching sound? Is that meant to be screaming? Again, you've got to use some imagination. Right, let's get this. Yes! Oh, what's not to love about this game, guys? Right, so I've got a score of 1,000 there. I'm guessing you've got a time limit, or do you do it until your fuel runs out? I'm not sure, but this is a bit of fun. Something to play with the family. The noise of the people when they reach their fatal end. Wow, wow, wow. I'm guessing that high-pitched sound is meant to be them screaming or something. So there's a nice little, you can see a pickup truck there in the background that's almost the size of the house. But going for the old Southern American Texas stereotype there. Because like all country songs feature a pickup truck, right? I have to admit, this game's not very exciting. I mean, I'm just mowing people down, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. Dodging wheelchairs. That is a wheelchair, right? And just picking up scores. But when does the game end? I don't know. I'm guessing there's got to be some kind of time limit, and then it's a case of what score you get at the end of the game. It's okay. I mean, graphically, it's fine. I can see that these are either stacks of hay or tumbleweed. We've got some skulls there from, I'm guessing they're bulls or whatever. Wheelchairs. Oh, of course, there was a character in the film in a wheelchair, wasn't there? Right. Oh, and you can't hit them. Right. Okay. So, and yeah, I mean, okay. That's meant to be a chainsaw. It does require some imagination, but if you've seen the film, and obviously it's in the title as well, you know what it is. Yeah, it's not a great game. I think Halloween was better. Well, there you go, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I believe that was released in 1983 also. A lot of horror-based games were released in 1983 for the Atari. Maybe it was a good year for horror games. Anyway, there you go. Okay, we're going to play Alien. Again, released in 1983. The movie wasn't. The movie was 79, wasn't it? Starring Sigourney Weaver. Directed by Ridley Scott. And try and get this game to work. Right, let's give this a go. Okay, so straight away from the screen there, it looks like some kind of Pac-Man clone. Let's give it a go. Okay, so I keep saying imagination is required. Yeah, so it looks like you've got to collect some dots here, just like Pac-Man. Yeah, but again, imagination may be required, but you can tell that you are this character here, so I'm guessing you are playing the character of Ripley, or just some guy. What does the button do? Oh, a machine gun! Cool! And those things that are crawling around, I'm guessing are aliens, or xenomorphs, to be precise. Let's see if we can mow one down. With a gun. No you don't. You reach a fatal end. Right, okay, so the gun is benign by the looks of it, unless you need to pick up some kind of power up. I don't know. What do these dots do? Okay, yeah, right, okay, so like in Pac-Man, if you collect the large pellets, yeah, you can shoot the aliens. Right, okay, just like in the film. What's that thing? Okay, we've picked something up, guys. I don't know what it does. Right, so it's nowhere near as good as Pac-Man. But that being said, it's not a bad game. So far, I would say this is the best one I've played. I say it's not as good as Pac-Man. There was a version of Pac-Man on the Atari, wasn't there? And I would say it's better than that. So it's better than Atari's Pac-Man. Oh, what's this? Oh, so we've got a second stage. This looks a little bit like... have you played the game Freeway? Where you've got to get across the road. Okay, well, that was a poor attempt. Yeah, there's a game called Freeway, which was by Activision, and that was on the Atari, and you've got to get from one side of the road to the other without getting hit by trucks. That looked the same. So this game looks like clones of other games, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I can actually quite happily sit here and play this. This is not a bad game at all. I mean, how do you represent a movie like Alien into an Atari game? Can't be easy, can it? So, you know, I can tell that I am a human character of sorts. And those are xenomorphs. Oh, I died. Have I died for good? Is that game over? Right, we're going to have one more go because I want to see that freeway part, or freeway stage, or whatever it's called. So yeah, it's got another element to this game which I think is interesting. The fact that you have a separate level to just collecting pellets. God knows what the pellets are meant to be. Oh, I've messed this up. It even has the kind of siren that you get in Pac-Man. You know, woo, woo, woo. Which adds a bit of intensity, if anything. And, you know, this game has got a little bit of intensity. Let's shoot that alien. All right, we've got one. Xenomorph. It's a xenomorph. Stop calling it an alien. Let's be professional here. I'm actually quite enjoying this. I don't think this is a bad game at all. I've played far worse games on the Atari. Oh dear. Okay. Next level. Let's go for it. Oh no! Alright, well, that's as much as we're going to play on this episode. But that's Alien for the Atari 2600. It's pretty good, actually.